Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Short Box Podcast.
The Short Box Podcast is recorded live from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Yo, Short Box patrons. And Shortbox Nation, all right? Shortbox Nation in general. Welcome to a special bonus episode that we are calling the post-show. All right, the post-HeroesCon show. Normally, we record these. If we're going historical sakes, we've recorded these episodes after day one of the convention. But we had so much fun on day one that we're doing it on day two, last day. We've had 2 days to process it and compare, so I think this is going to be a good conversation. But regardless, I want to welcome you to the post-HeroesCon show. It's your boy Botter on the mic. On mic number 2, I got my partner in crime, Andrew Torres.
Oh!
Hey, Mr. Torres.
I've never been called that before. But nice to be back. It's been a year already.
Yes, a year since we've recorded from here. It's been a year since we recorded from Charlotte. You're right about that. And joining me and Drew is, I don't think this is his first appearance, because technically he's matter of fact, I think 2 or 3 HeroesCon ago he made his Shortbox debut.
Yeah, we did it in the ladies' house, on the second floor.
I think you need to add more context to that.
Okay, sorry. At an Airbnb that belonged to a lady that we went upstairs.
Yes. So making his second ever Shortbox debut is our damn good friend, Mr. Blake Simone, who's getting his first ever round of applause right there.
I'm used to the applause. This is everywhere I go.
I can't believe we just bring that whole audience with us.
Yeah.
Would this technically be my third?
What was the second?
Ooh.
C.
That's right. You did record that episode of Cesar when we did the call-in show.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, veteran. Jeez Louise. Why'd I even give you the pep talk?
I just, I needed to make you feel down a peg.
Blake, you're rocking that Shortbox shirt pretty nicely.
I do.
It looks natural on you.
It's funny. People wanted to talk to me this year, and I wonder why.
Oh, hey, look at that. Associate with the Shortbox, get friends. That's our new logo. That's our new motto right there. You don't just get good podcast content. You actually make friends. Gents, how are we feeling after 2 full days of HeroesCon?
Our knees.
Yeah, our knees are
how's
screaming.
our knees feeling, Boyd?
Not nearly as bad as I thought they'd be. I've only had to take one to leave this whole trip.
I feel like the first day was like very much like a tough. We were walking a lot. I feel like today, like we got a little bit more. Obviously, we got a late start, but I think yesterday was just go.
I think what's been surprising both these days is how fast time has gone by. I mean, today we basically stayed until they closed the floor, till 6 p.m. yesterday we were there. I mean, the whole day. I mean, that's like what, more than
It was like till 7.
solid 8-10 hours.
Then
right?
we came home and relaxed for a little bit, and then when we came back for the art auction,
the drink and draw.
The drink and draw, it was already like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are full ass days. And I think that's what I mentioned this yesterday. This is what I like about HeroesCon is that there's a nightlife aspect to it. You know, like there's stuff to do after the convention.
It brings people out. And
yeah,
people
drink and
engaged.
draw.
Yeah, comics after dark. That's where trouble happens. Here's the thing. The trouble starts after the convention.
You're right.
It's like the great Gilbert Gottfried TV show, Up All Night.
Yeah, so I mean, the events after night are a nice touch because now there's that community aspect to it. There's that like nightlife party aspect to it. And if you're a comic, I mean, obviously if you're here, you got to be a comic fan. But I think it's cool too that you have the opportunity to rub elbows and maybe have a drink or meet like, you know, a comic creator on your level, like on a mutual level. You know, you're both there at, you know, whatever, the hotel bar, grabbing a drink and maybe catching up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not that, it's pretty accessible for like the everyday person. You know, like Eli was telling us yesterday, meeting that one colorist. And then even when we were there, I think last year we ran as like Z Chun and got to hang out with him and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's like I think there's that aspect of like, hey, we really are bringing the community the community together, both the industry and the fans in one place. Mm-hmm. What words come to mind when you think about this year's HeroesCon?
Expensive.
Yeah, as I said in the wise words of Trent Reznor, I hurt myself today. And that was my wallet.
Yeah, like you were walking around like Johnny Cash the whole day. I hurt myself today. My man went broke today. Drew, you said expensive was the first word that comes to mind. Why?
Dude, like anything we were looking for back issue wise for Amazing Spider-Man was at least more than $5.
Mm-hmm.
Like $8, $10. And this dude has 900 issues. So if you want to collect Spider-Man, you better start now.
I think what Drew's trying to say is that inflation has finally caught up to HeroesCon.
Oh, my God.
Expensive is a good word. It's expensive because HeroesCon will really test your willpower. And I made a joke about it earlier being like, you see so much cool shit at HeroesCon, by the time you're done with HeroesCon, you're kind of tired of cool stuff. You're like, I have been inundated with cool stuff, cool comics, cool stickers, cool design, cool graphic. You know, like everything that you want to see in a comic book convention.
People, cosplay, comic book statues.
You're like, I'm tired of seeing all this cool shit.
Wolverine's walking around.
Yeah. I'm tired of being tempted by all this cool shit.
There's so much cool shit. Someone got me to spend, $30 on 3 stickers?
Yeah. Stickers are, this is where I felt the inflation was stickers. Yeah. I was like, man, stickers used to be $1, $5 at the most. Brothers are asking for 10 and 20.
Yeah, for real.
Now, granted, Drew has the best sticker of the weekend. This dude got, and I think I might have posted on the Instagram, but Drew bought this, it has to be like half a foot, like 6-inch sticker of Venom.
8-inch, 9-inch sticker.
There's no way that's fitting on a whole water bottle.
Badass, yeah, you got to put that on a window or a blanket. That goes on a quilt or something. You got to find a way to sew it in.
On the entire laptop.
But the artist was, I believe his last name is Gideon, but Juan Gideon, the artist for Jurassic League. Super nice guy, by the way. Like, had some cool designs. I got to chatting with him about Marvel vs. Capcom, and I mentioned Bingus, and his eyes lit up. He was like, yo, that is my shit. And I was like, dude, I'd love to talk to you about this. He was like, the fact that you know about Marvel vs. Capcom, whatever you need. So I'm kind of excited to, talk with him. Because his art reminds me of, it reminds me of, a Kubert. It reminds me of, Marvel vs. Capcom. It's got, a video game manga style, and his colors are cool. So he was really awesome.
Probably do a really dope
left
Street
out the
Fighter.
important part. I remember him saying specifically, I don't really like doing podcasts, but we like the same shit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's cool to connect. I will say, if you're a podcaster, YouTuber, or whatever, HeroesCon is nice to just be able to converse and actually connect with people and potential guests before you even ask the question. So I feel pretty confident about some of these interviews I got lined up. But Blake, what's a word that comes to mind when you think about this weekend?
For as busy and fast as time went, it was still that southern relaxation there. It wasn't fast paced. There wasn't people hustling, bustling, getting you out of spots.
Yeah,
you could look, you could really you could really browse through stuff, and nobody was really making you feel like I got to be quick looking through this box. So it's Heroes gets busy, but it's chill. That's what I like about it.
Well said. I co-signed that, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about with Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah,
he's always got a line, but he doesn't have his lines do get long, but they're not obnoxious. And you know it's worth it when you get up to him because the reason why his lines are long is because he spends time talking to people.
Yeah.
And you feel like, oh, I'm having a good conversation with someone. It doesn't feel like it's an in and out transaction only. It's like, yeah, we're going to be here all weekend. Let's just let's just have a good time. I do feel like I have not had one negative interaction at all in these 2 days at the convention. Yeah. Outside the convention, we've got our own story that'll live outside this podcast. But convention-wise, I think I've had nothing but pleasant experiences from running into people I know, shout outs to Eli, to running into new folks like Maria and Juan, and even some of the vendors have all been seriously nice, accommodating. I'm asking them for, hey, do you have combo, man? And they're kind of trying, it's I know they don't have it, but at least they're trying. Can you guys echo the same thing? You guys feel like it's been pretty positive?
I had vendors and artists be like, I remember you from last year. And you're like, yeah, right. And then they bring up what you talked about or what you were looking for, and you're like, oh, I guess you do remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like Tony, saying that he remembered you, and even offered to hold your stuff. And I'm damn, that's rare gold at conventions to have a little spot for people to put their stuff in.
It's the girlfriend you want because they stay with.
Drew, what would you say was your most memorable interaction, artist or someone? What was your most memorable interaction? Yo, this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox Store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And then I mentioned that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material. None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show.
There was this lady that was just basically doing, and I apologize, I don't know her name. She was just this little older lady that you could just tell she was out of place, and she had just a table full of all these tiny little watercolor paintings, and they were just so fun to look at. I was like, what do you do? She's like, oh, I like to just take 5 minutes and just paint whatever. Oh, and she had she painted she just paints scenes. She'll only paint trees or flowers, but she uses a lot of watercolors, and they're tiny. We're talking teeny tiny little photos.
3x2 pieces of paper she was doing them.
Yeah, they're just watercolor things, and I was like, this lady just had a good time. This is her first con.
That's cool.
She was super nice, and I bought a couple things from her, so that was really really dope because I was like, oh man, for her this is an art showing.
Yeah,
people there's people that are literally going there from an art standpoint because I keep thinking it's just all comic books and. That's what it is. It's just a big comic book convention, but it's oh no, it's definitely it's just a big art auction as well as an art gallery. There's so many people with so much cool stuff.
The emphasis of appreciating art is strong here.
Yes.
It feels like more than just buying comic books, but the artist alley is so robust. And to Drew's point, and to Drew's point, you can walk through artist alley and you get such a good mix of you clearly are into comics, this is your thing, but you're just a talented artist, period, and you're pushing your wares that doesn't necessarily that isn't necessarily comics, but because it's art, it's well done, you're accepted.
I have noticed, yes, there's writers there, but it's not as heavy as the artist.
Yeah.
And even a lot of those writers are also the artists themselves too. Like, I mean, you got like a guy like Matt Kent who does some art too.
Yep.
And he's a writer. But I mean, yeah, I feel like I saw more artists than I saw writers.
Well said. Blake, we've complimented you all weekend that your knack for striking up conversation with anyone is admirable and really cool to like watch. Who's been the most memorable interaction with you? Because you've met a lot of new people this weekend.
That's a tough one. Actually, I think my favorite talking was probably, what's his name? Kevin. What's his last name?
Oh, Kevin Cantanelli, I believe that's how you say it. Yeah.
I think
of Space Knights and
we could
Cosmic
kind of
Lion.
level on some of the same nerd stuff. And as soon as the Gendy Tartakovsky stuff came up, it was kind of like, well, there goes the conversation because we could be on this for a while.
Yeah. Getting to meet Kevin, who Eli like was trying to tell me from the get-go, like, hey man, this new artist, I got him like, you know, I'm helping publish his work. He's really cool. You'll like it. Let me send you some stuff. When he sent me the Space Knight stuff, it was like, oh wow, this is really cool comic. But to be able to meet him and like how positive he was, how nice he was, like, you know, also a fan of the show, it was like, man, I want to see you win. And I think that's what's so cool about HeroesCon is that you can have these interactions with these artists. And like you can, any creator really, not just an artist, but like you can make solid connections with people. And like you said, when you come back next year, you know, you've already built a foundation. So now it's like, you know, you can build something a little more meaningful.
Well, another good conversation was Gene from Shortbox.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was actually the first time I really got to meet him. Okay. So we got talking around, and that was cool. I mean, he was telling how we need to all go out to Shortbox Live.
Dude, I trust me. I want to make that happen next year. I was really happy to see them do their first event. I'm gonna say most memorable is probably that dude. I believe his name's Matthew Allison, the guy that created the Kankor comic book I was telling you about. That was a case of me just walking by, seeing something cool, and I won't lie. At first, I was a little hesitant. Like, man, I'm kind of like my social battery is kind of low. I don't know if I want to just strike up small convo and be like, because you know sometimes like that small conversation, you end up liking the artist or the person behind the booth, and you're like, I should probably buy something. I want to support, and I don't know if I wanted to feel that like pressure, but it was too cool to pass up. And just being able to like hear, like ask him like, hey, what inspired this, and to hear his story and all that was really cool. So like. And I mean, it was like, you know, a case of like, I saw your work. It looked cool. I got to meet you. You sold me on it, and I bought some stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you a follow. So probably Matthew Allison.
Nice.
Drew, what was the coolest thing you bought?
The coolest thing I bought?
What do you think was the best? What was the crown jewel of your haul from this weekend? Because you were, pretty Spider-Man focused this weekend, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to get like a couple Spider-Man things. I'm trying to think back. Like,
is it safe to say that Across the Spider-Verse movie has you in your Spider-Man bag?
Oh, it has
lately?
me like in a chokehold. Like, you're like, dang.
But specifically, you've been looking for anything with black suit symbiote Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because those John Byrne covers, like all those covers to me are so iconic that I'm like, dang. And now that I'm like not dumpster diving, like going through the boxes, I'm seeing covers that I'm like, oh, these are crazy. So, what was one the new one, the new Robert Kirkman book? I think that one's probably my favorite purchase.
Oh, Void Rivals.
Yeah, because that was really cool. Because like, you know, it's one of those like after the show, you're reading comic books, you're asleep upstairs, so you like we're just down here. But it's funny because you're not asleep.
It's a sleepover.
But you're not. And the funny thing is, the plot twist is you weren't asleep, so you're just hearing me basically fucking spoil the whole book for you.
Yeah. So some context, listeners. When we got to this Airbnb and met up with Blake was asking us if we had read Void Rivals, which at the time of this recording, that this book came out this Wednesday. I know, Mac, you're listening. Mac had reached out to me, I think, on Thursday and Friday and was like, have you read Void Rivals? I was like, no, but I've seen on Twitter some people I follow saying it's fucking awesome. He was like, whatever. I think he was like, I don't care if you're on the road. Turn back around, go to your comic shop, and go buy this issue. So when we saw Blake, that was one of the first questions Blake asked us was, hey, did y'all read Void Rivals? And he was like, I'm not going to spoil it. Just know it's pretty big. It's a big deal. You got to check it out. Drew ends up reading the book the nighttime after day one. We got back and I was taking a nap, but I couldn't really sleep. And, you know, this Airbnb is like, you know, it was really quiet. And all I hear downstairs is Drew apparently reading Void Rivals. And he gets to the fucking cliffhanger or the big reveal. And he's like, oh my God, Blake, You were right. This is the. Oh my, dude! Did you remember? All I'm hearing is this muffled like. I wanted to scream, spoiler warning! For the love of God, a spoiler warning! Drew's downstairs spoiling the hell out of this series. But regardless, I'm still going to read it because it sounds interesting. Blake, what about you? What was your crown jewel from your haul this weekend?
Well, at first, because that was real quick, it was probably the Space Usagi stuff, because I haven't been seeing that a lot.
What is the deal with this Space Usagi,
It's
series?
Usagi Yojimbo in space.
Like, Stan Sakai was like, how else do I print more money? You know what? Let me put
the
the
first time
Samurai Rabbit in space.
First time he did it was Fantagraphics, and then he did it early on at Dark Horse. So I found the 3 issues from Dark Horse, and then I found the last issue from Fantagraphics. So anybody listening, if you have any idea where
anything
I can
in the
find
middle.
1 and 2. But then the Marvel Legends
Oh, yeah.
Build the Galactus, that was probably like... I've been wanting that thing for years now, and
Listeners, if you've never seen this Build-A-Figure Galactus, let me just tell you how big. This is how big this figure is. Blake was able to carry this figure like a small child. We almost walked into a grocery store and they were going to give that child a free sampler.
This is the Titanic, like Blake was getting on that boat.
That Galactus
Are
figure
you here for
is
Comic
huge.
Con? Is that your son?
Oh,
this
here,
is
have
my
a little
dolly.
something.
But real quick,
Yeah, hit it.
I got to shout out. Botter and I were pretty blown away by just kind of walking past and being like, "This looks cool. Let's stop." And that Raid Press,
Oh, man. Yeah, Raid Press from their station. Oh, where are they?
they're right outside Toronto.
Toronto, Canada. They apparently popped up during the pandemic, and they produce these really high quality anthology comic series. I guess they've got like a cabal of like writers and artists, and they're the like publishing arm. And they have three volumes of this anthology series called just Raid 1, so just like their company name. And they collected them in these, so you could buy them single. They're like soft cover trades, kind of like not Treasury Edition size, but oversized.
They were kind of almost European, like thick
Yeah,
European
yeah.
style size.
So they collected all of them to this like nice box set, and then they're starting a new trio of a new anthology trio, and it's
So
like Hydra,
for
right?
fans of Evil Dead, you'll get it. So the title of it is Klek 2, which is Klek 2 Verada Nikto, which is in Army of Darkness. So he was talking about that, but a lot of it's going to be dealing with sci-fi, and then this one I think was sci-fi fantasy. Next one they said sci-fi horror, and then I think like the third one was going to be something else. But
That's cool. That's super cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good one. I'm gonna say just crowning achievements for me. This Combo Man Ashcan comic, which is just fantastic. Look,
More surprising when you whipped it out and showed us. Whoa! There it is.
I whipped out the Combo Man on him.
And
Bow, bow, bow.
And as she said, I thought it'd be bigger.
So yeah, I've been looking for this Combo Man comic because someone. Oh, big shout outs to help me out here, Gonzo,
Oh, it was
Enzo.
Garza, I think.
Yes, I think Enzo Garza, the creator of Ghost Gut Comics.
Yo, solid guy.
Yeah.
Solid guy.
Yeah, super solid guy. But he recently got me onto Combo Man. I won't.
I thought you were about to say he recently got me in comic books.
Yeah, I won't. I won't give the whole diatribe about Combo Man, but just know he's an obscure '90s promotion between Marvel and the snack combos, and he's composed of like 20 heroes / villains. The only thing that exists for them is a small 8-page Ashcan comic, T-shirt that you all had to do mail in stuff. But anyways, I didn't think I was going to find this Ashcan, but I did. That's my crowning jewel. And I might also have to say that Dial M for Monkey sketch from Kevin Cantanella.
That broke the
That
internet.
was amazing.
Dude, what was the Uncrackable Crunk that he did for me? That was incredible. And then the Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, the theme for this weekend was Gindi
Gardatovsky.
He kept looking over you like, are you gonna save for me?
Jump in and
Yeah,
save
please
us.
save it for me.
Also, real quick, I picked up a Hellboy sketch from Matt Lesniewski,
Oh, yeah?
which is beautiful, man. Matt Lesniewski is a talented illustrator. That dude draws so well, and what he's doing with like proportions and perception lately has been freaking great.
Speaking of Hellboy, I can't wait for you to get Enzo on the show so everyone can hear his Mignola story. I will save that for when he's on so he can tell it.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I'm gonna add this name to the list of memorable or pleasurable interactions, and that is Wes Craig.
Oh yeah, Wes Craig was a pleasant human being.
Wes Craig was awesome. Blake had a Kaya Ashcan comic, and obviously I had to go ahead and get my own. He introduced me to Wes Craig. That dude is super pleasant, super humble, and it was funny when he was talking about how parents will come up to his table with like little kids and they see Deadly Class and they're like, "Oh, is this can my son read this?" And he's like, "No, not at all, lady." Yeah,
Maybe when they're a little older and you can read and explain it to them.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
All right, let's see. What else can we talk about? What you guys think about the panel? I feel like it went pretty well. Ron Garney, Matt Kent, super nice people. What you guys think?
I thought you handled it well. I thought you were on top of your game on that one.
Fucking professional. Fucking legendary, mate. No, it was really good. It was really
I'd like
good,
to call you the maestro.
Oh, that's better. That's a better nickname than Combo Man.
No, Combo Man's good.
That is a great nickname. I like that.
Yeah,
Your boy got the nickname Combo Man this weekend because I was one of 2 people looking for Combo Man comics. All right, well, how about this? Give me one thing you learned from the panel about the Berserker comic book or Keanu Reeves or anything. What's one thing you learned from that panel from Matt Kent, Ron Garney?
That truly was a collaboration between all 3 of them.
Yes. I think that was
because I mean, when that was announced, it was like, "Oh, Keanu Reeves is doing a comic," and
You're
I was like, "I know."
You got to do an air quotes. You're like, Keanu Reeves is doing the comic book. Yeah.
I know that guy's a dork, in his own way, and he likes stuff like that. And like, I got my own Keanu story I'll share between you guys now on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was kind of all right. I get it. You know, he's on the high of John Wick. It's like, like, is it Boom reaching out and like, "Hey, do you want to do a story?"
It did feel the timing did feel like, okay, this is almost like too perfect. John Wick 4 is killing it in the box office, and we're getting a Keanu Reeves comic that kind of looks like John Wick. Yeah.
So it was kind of one of those. For
Wait
me,
a minute.
But then hearing those guys kind of like, even like, I mean, in the beginning, and people will hear it when they hear the recording, but those guys kind of being like,
yeah, their own
know?
hesitance. Like, is this really going to be a comic book? I'm not gonna. I like the fact that they both have like enough, I guess, like respect or integrity to like also be weary.
Yeah.
Because think about like how many people like they were saying towards the end, like Berserker is now a kind of like phenomenon, and they were both like, we're in it. We're like, the way they said it was like, we're in it for the ride. Whether we liked it or not, we weren't expecting it to become this thing, but now it could be like, dude, this new phenomenon. And it got me thinking. I was like, oh shit, Boom Studios is like creator owned stuff. So technically, like, I wonder if they own this with Keanu Reeves equally, or maybe not equally, but maybe some parts of it. I wonder if they have what that deal is in place. Because if we're talking a possible, not even possible, they have already announced a Berserker live adaptation and an anime. You know, it's like, because they both were like, well, we're in it, we're involved, we got, we're gonna be involved with it. It's like, damn.
My guess is the top 2 is going to be Matt Kent, Keanu Reeves, and that, because they even said Garney was like the second choice, and he kind of came in after the first artist. Like,
if you find any of the announcement articles when they announced Berserker, it's a different artist, and I don't have the name of the artist. And I was gonna bring it up, but I also was like, it sounds like that was probably there's something went on there.
I mean, even they were like, that's something,
Yeah.
that we're not going to talk about. But
Drew, what about you, man? What was something you knew you learned from Matt Kent and Ron Garney?
Oh, from Matt Kent, Ron Garney, or this trip?
From the trip. Give us high level.
Oh, the best strip clubs are in Maryland.
No, Massachusetts.
Springfield, Massachusetts has the best strip
in
clubs.
Vegas.
Yeah, and Vegas.
I was surprised at first when that Uber driver told us that.
My favorite is the assumption, like, we're having a good time. This guy's like, so you guys going to the strip club? I was like, this only happens in movies and taxi cab confessions.
Shout out to Roland for making me not regret my decision to upgrade on that lift black.
100%.
That $6 upgrade.
$6 upgrade. Got some advice. Got some really good advice.
Long story short, listeners, we had a Uber driver assume that made a strong assumption that 3 grown men hanging out on a Saturday night were going to a strip club afterwards.
You're like, get out of here.
Yeah, dude, we're just going home to go pod, man.
You make an ass of you and me.
That's what's funny. After he tells us this epic story of these Australian bros just basically making a ruckus. Sir, we're American. We're tired.
Yeah, we're tired. Sir, you see the wristband. We've been on a convention floor all day. All right, we're sweaty nerds. We're tired. All right, what was the biggest lesson I learned?
Oh, with Matt Kenton, thing, well, wrong, Arnie, is the fact that there is a Jeff Darrow John Wick poster that exists out there that is way too violent. And your joke was top tier. You're like, wait a minute, Jeff Darrow made a comic book too violent for John Wick.
Yeah, that was incredible. They're like, oh yeah, like Matt being like, oh, Jeff Darrow did this awesome. What was it? Supposed to be a variant like poster for the movie, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
He said, Jeff Darrow was commissioned to do a variant poster for the first John Wick, and they never put it out because it was too violent. And the only image that exists of this poster is a grainy JPEG that Jeff Darrow still had. Shared it with Matt Kent. And it sounded like Matt Kent couldn't make it out, but he knew it was violent.
Yeah, and the thing he said was the first thing I thought was, oh, now I know why I didn't put this out. And he's like, it's like John Wick slitting throats and like.
But it's like
Jeff Darrow style.
At this point, he's done way worse. I guess
I
it's
think
like
I found it.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's right here.
Oh,
it's not even colored, bro.
Let me see this.
And he's talking about how, remember, he's like, yeah, John Wick slid somebody's throat.
Oh my god, it's not even just that. He's slitting the guy's throat and blowing his like eyeball out.
I kind of because it's Jeff Darrow, so it's like every muscle
detailed.
tissue.
Zoom out a little bit. You're like, what is going on? They didn't even color it. They just did it in black and white.
Whoa,
you gotta
this
screenshot
is
that and send that to me.
Okay.
Is that confetti coming out of that dude's eyes? All right, I want to go back to Drew's word, expensive, because that is a topic that me and Blake have talked about all weekend. Is the spending that I need to buy that? Am I not buying enough? Like, am I missing out? Like, just that sense of like, do I need to buy this? I need to buy this now because it looks cool. I might miss it. This is probably the better deal. And that's usually not the case. We've talked a lot about, having a solid plan going into the convention is the best move. Like understanding how much you want to spend, like also realizing that in preparing yourself that you're going to see a lot of cool stuff, but you don't need to own all the cool stuff you see. You got to have a little bit of willpower or else you won't even get past
the first booth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There is so much cool stuff to see. And I felt like I was finding new booths every single turn. I was like, oh, I haven't seen this. This looks cool. Let me try to remember what they got here.
And then sometimes when you walk by, there's like 5 or 6 people that are huddled in there. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, I can't just wait. I got to keep moving.
Yeah. You got to have a little bit of, that too, like time management and like patience too, because it's so easy to be distracted and like, okay, next booth. Based on, our weekend, this go round and maybe just an overall collective, convention going experience. What are some tips that you would give someone going to a convention, maybe for the first time, that's like worried about like, spending too much? What are some of your tips to be financially smart going into a convention?
Definitely, for sure. Bring cash. Keep the cards that you would use at home or wherever you're staying, because that way you've got a strict budget, and it makes you think about the whole, like I said, about that Kamen Rider, which I probably would have enjoyed buying it, but I looked at you and said, if this is here later, it's meant to be. Walk past, it wasn't there anymore. You just kind of set yourself on what you want and what your collection needs. And then kind of look for that. And you're going to see tons of stuff. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'll buy this. But you kind of just need to like sit back and just go, but do I?
Yeah. I like what you said about bringing cash, because now it's like you got a physical representation of your limits.
Yeah.
And cash just works way better in these. Like I think about how many situations where I could have maybe got it a little cheaper if I had cash instead. Like
guys will deal with you if you got cash, because it's like, oh, you got cash on hand? Well, all right, I'll do this. I would have done this for $50, but I'll do it for $35.
Yeah,
you got cash.
I feel like with cash, you can at least always get $5 knocked off, and $5 here, $5 there usually saves up a lot. Drew, what about you, man? What tips are you giving a new con goers?
Just like the same thing over and over again. Like if you see it at a booth, chances are the guy around the corner has it for cheaper, $2.
Yeah,
$3. Don't buy it the first time you see it. Unless you know that is like the rarest thing ever and you haven't seen it, you don't need it. walk down and see if it's down there because there's so like the Amazing Spider-Mans that I was buying. That book, on average, was staying $10 to $12, $8, depending on like if it was a newsstand or regular. But I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to read it. But then we found the $4 bin. Mm-hmm. The guy sold it for $4. I was like, bet. I was like, this is what. Like I was like, I will pay $4 for this because this to me is a $4 comic book.
I feel like HeroesCon is also an exercise in prioritizing either time or like, I guess, time and convenience and money. There was a couple of booths that had super cheap comics, 50 cents, 6 for $5, that type of thing.
I'll pay you to take this.
Yeah, but none of them were organized.
Yeah, you're dumpster diving at that point.
Yeah, and it's like, do I want to spend my time digging through
Do I want to
books?
spend my time and money?
Yeah, do I want to spend my time digging through cheap books in the off chance that I come across something I'm looking for that's rare? Yeah, you might come across those, but you're going to be like doing some digging. Or do I want to go to the guy that's got the alphabetized back issues? Sometimes they have. I love whenever they have like the dividers, but they're decorated.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's a comic book had to die for arts and crafts. Can we talk about like how the one thing I find so annoying when it comes to going through the comic books is when you get a box of just shit bags and boards,
and it's all dusty.
It's all dusty and greeny, and then you're like, as soon as you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, your fingertips are like look like you've been rubbing coal.
Yeah. You're like, why do you have so many copies of this one particular comic book, bro?
What's the coolest thing you saw that you weren't going to buy, or you couldn't afford it, or you just weren't going to buy it based on principles? But like, what's the coolest thing you've seen that you didn't pick up?
Like, are you talking about like a person? Like, you're the coolest costume I've seen. I can't afford you.
I would put you in my purse right now. No, I'm saying like product, like comic wise, toy wise. What's like the coolest thing you saw?
I'll let Blake take that because he probably saw way more cooler shit than I did.
I actually got to think about it. What was it
All right, I'll go.
when we were together? Yeah, you go because there was a few things.
I got one that comes.
Are we
to
saying
mind.
the cool, like the thing that you walked away from, like a bad relationship?
No, the thing that you walked away from that was like, ooh, if I had
Oh my god, yo,
$1 million and money. If money wasn't a priority,
it was this 12-inch Ninja Turtles. Those Rise of the Teenage Ninja
you got to
Turtles.
show me them tomorrow. I haven't.
There's only one left. There's only one left, and it's Raphael, and I'm probably gonna grab it because it's Raphael. And that's my dude.
Okay.
On eBay, you can hardly find them in their packages, and when you buy them used, they don't come with any of the accessories. This lady had all three of them except for Donatello complete, like never, like for $15, mind you. Oh, I could have got the whole set for $45, but I'm like, no, I don't like. It's just so bulky, like it's just these big figures, and I'm like, I don't need them. Didn't you see like a $1,200 statue get sold?
Yeah, some dude bought the Hulkbuster armor. It was like a bust for like $1,200. It was huge. It was when you were looking through the
Spider-Man. Yeah.
I actually saw a couple really awesome. There's the 1989 Godzilla statue. That thing that was like probably like 25 inches, and I was like, oh man, but like I do want like $800. And I was like, well, if I won the Mega Millions, maybe I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Also, I'm flying, so where do I put that? But yeah, the other thing, man, look at dude, that black and white Hulk Grand Design Jim Rugg had.
Oh,
like,
that poster, that big poster.
If I wasn't flying, I would probably would have been like.
All right, actually, you just reminded me. The coolest thing I saw, I've seen this trip. Jim Steranko had a bunch of. I don't think they're blacklight. The more I think about it, we had a bunch of unused Marvel arts, and I think Kirby's name was attached to it. So I don't know if he inked over Kirby or some relation. I don't know what the Kirby relation was, but it was unused Marvel art. He had a Spider-Man one where Spider-Man on the wall of Green Goblin and Doc Ock, and then a Silver Surfer and Galactus one. And I think that one might be closer to Kirby for some reason. But those posters look rad. They look like they are from like
that era.
Yeah, like that. Thank you. From that area, that 70s era. He probably has had these in storage for a minute. Jim Steranko kind of comes off to me as someone that he sells like his personal stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's definitely one of those like he has a house in Vegas just full of memorabilia.
For sure.
Stuff.
And I feel like the more I walk by his table, the more I'm like, damn, this dude has done a lot of not just comic work, but I like the fact that he's done like
just
trades, graphic art, like just art for covers for things that like promotional art, advertising. And because I think he comes from an advertising background, but I might be mixing. No, I think he does. But
No, he is advertising.
He's got like all this art for that's still Marvel, but it's like for a graphic novel, for a collected edition. Like it's really astounding that dude's career.
And this guy does not draw anymore.
No, he still does.
Does he?
Yeah.
Like, is he drawing like he used to? Like, is he? Like,
Dude, if that Nick Fury print that he showed me last year, if I remember the story right, if I remember hearing him right, it was like he just drew it. Like, you've heard the Jim Steranko story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, word. But yeah, he showed me a Nick Fury drawing that he led me to believe he just did it, and it blew my mind. Like, not only are you technically good, but you're still like thinking like several chess moves.
Yeah, you're talking about chess moves, and I remember that story. He was impressed by you by being back, still in shape, and not being one of us regulars.
still one of my favorites.
I'm tempted to go back to go stand in line tomorrow just to ask him. You remember me?
Do you think Steranko sits around in his like lounge in his Vegas home with his buddy Tom Jones? Hey Tom, you think I should sell this to some nerds?
He definitely has a smoker jacket. He gets home and puts an eye patch on, and he's like, "I am Nick Fury."
Okay, I got another question for you guys, and I think back last year, something that our homeboy Austin had said, because he went there and it was his first HeroesCon, and he left, and I remember him telling me like he felt really inspired to like go create comics. He wanted to make a zine, and he just felt really inspired. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, like I think that's a feeling I do feel leaving these, and I just never maybe put words to it. But this weekend, I just kind of spending, I guess, coming right off of Duval Comic and Zine Fest last weekend, then coming here, I do have a sense of like inspiration to maybe whether it be draw more, but the idea of making a zine just continues to become more attractive to me. Because I'm thinking about how this whole weekend we've been talking about Dexter's Laboratory, the Justice Friends, like all these cartoons from our childhood, like Combo Man, like these very obscure things that don't have homes anymore, but are cool, that we still think is cool. And it's like, man, I wish they would do more with him. And it's like, well, I guess I could do more with him, Like I could make a zine, whether it be like an informational zine telling you about Combo Man or doing my own story. Do you guys feel, I guess, like artistically inspired leaving an event like this?
Yes. And also, I will say I paid more attention to the zine size or ash can size stuff because of Austin. Because
cool.
Last year, all that stuff he showed us, I was like, man, I wish I was paying more attention to that stuff.
Yeah.
And this year, I kind of walked around and paid attention to that. I found some really cool stuff.
I think one of the coolest mini comics, literally mini comics you bought, was that comic that looks like a pack of matches that unfolds and tells a story.
I can't remember her name. It's CB something, but it's Enzo's girlfriend, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because actually one of the other smaller ones was like their like first date, I think. It was like she retold the story.
That's cool. Drew, I'm gonna pay you props in this regard because it's kind of related. You do a really solid job of finding like traditional artists and illustrators. Like you always seem to find like a painter, someone that just like likes to draw. And kind of watching you diving into the world of sketching and up in your art game. Like, do you leave these conventions? Like, are you leaving this one feeling like artistically inspired, or do you want to do something specifically?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, because after we did that drink and draw and like just the inking and shadowing, like I try to like make the black suit Spider-Man. And it's like you can't just do a whole black suit. You got to get highlights and everything.
Yeah. Think about lighting.
Yeah, that was really fun to like kind of like work through it and see. And then like honestly working and seeing where the artist puts the light and where they put the shading and like all right, this is a highlight here. It's always interesting because it's never the same. Anybody's always telling me like when you're drawing, they're like, all right, well, which way the light's coming out and which way is this? And I'm like, man, I'm not fucking ever thinking about that shit. I'm just trying to like get all the shapes out, and then later on I'm trying to think about that. But to answer your question, yeah, it's very, very much motivating. The most thing that's motivating is like there's so much medium that people delve in there. There's so much shit there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like outside of just paper and pencil.
Yeah, you got people that are doing skateboards. You got dudes that are like doing like 3D like fishbowl like terrariums of like things that are dope. You got this one guy that made candles, and he just put his dope print artwork on the, like, he did one of those like holy those holy candles. He's like, no, I'm just going to do my own version. You're like, damn, I've never seen anybody sell candles, and you're selling candles.
Did you see the anime? I don't think it's stained glass, but it looked like glass. I think it's just like it's got like a light background. It's like a light box, like a light box.
I did see them, and then they're the ones that had kind of like the neon ones too, right?
Yeah. To Drew's point, it is interesting to see like the different mediums of artistic expression being sold and like being put out there.
Yeah, there's so many people doing so much shit.
And you bringing up drink and draw. Last night's drink and draw made me realize the whole like, after hour events and all that. But specifically, like, it really is, HeroesCon really is just a celebration of art. Not just comics, but like art and drawing specifically. The fact that like they have an event where even if you're not a good artist like me, you just go and you kind of just like have fun and do it. And like that whole aspect of like turning in your art to potentially be sold and, to go to charity.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Right. It's like, it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
That was such a tease for us.
Yeah.
That was such a tease. We waited so long.
Wait, we got to give some context.
Hell no, let them figure it out.
That's funny.
You got listen. You guys watch Christopher Nolan movies. Figure it out.
But no, the drink and draw. This one made me kind of appreciate like just using drawing as a collaborative and community hangout thing.
Yeah,
that's pretty fun.
Definitely. Like once everybody got in their zone, like we didn't like. There was a part where we were all on the same table drawing, and nobody was talking. Everybody was just vibing.
Yeah, we was in the zone.
That's what I'm
We
saying.
was making art, baby.
there was a point when I was sitting there and I'm like, these guys are watching me color, and I'm just gonna let them know I know.
Okay, I forgot. All right, one of my crowning jewels in my halls this week is, speaking of drink and draw, is so listeners that haven't been to HeroesCon, for drink and draw, they give you blank coasters to draw on, and they give you pens and markers, and it's such a, and I think that's to further Drew's point, they're having you draw on coasters, right? Like the variety of mediums and doing art is celebrated
Whatever
widely.
you can fit on there.
Exactly. So for drink and draw, not only can you draw and turn in your art to be auctioned off, but you can also buy other people's art. And that's cool to like you're not really trading, but the money's going towards charity.
Yeah.
So it's whatever. But I came across an amazing Spider-Man sketch, colored Spider-Man sketch of Spider-Man hanging upside down, snapping a picture with a camera. And the intricacies and details in this camera were amazing. I loved the color work. The line work was awesome. It looked almost painted. And I bought it for, I think, $20. And the dude that took my payment was like, oh, I know this artist. It's a 14-year-old girl. She's here. And I was like, oh, man, that just like really, it was like humbling. It was like, wow, I'm buying art from like
an inspiring artist.
Yeah, like I was like, yo, let me meet her. She was the most 14-year-old girl I've ever met. I'm like, yeah, this is a teenager. Tall, lanky, kind of like like awkward, very shy. And when I was like, your art was awesome, like I had to buy it. I'm like explaining what I like about it. And she's turning redder than a strawberry as I'm like, she turned red when I was like, can I take a picture? You know what I'm saying? It's like to be able to celebrate.
You were just trying to hype her out, but like, yeah, yo, you're killing it. And she's like, okay. And then this chick over there.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Oh,
So when we're all sitting there, it's the $50 little coaster card. It's the $50 section, and we're sitting there like, man, like that dude turned in that Spider-Man. It was pretty beautiful, and he's like gliding.
Yeah, that one was
But
awesome.
right next to it, we're like, man, look at this Spider-Punk, man. Who did this? This Spider-Punk is awesome. And then she's just standing and goes, it was me.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, that was you.
Yeah, she didn't just kill one Spider-Man sketch. She drew a Spider-Punk that looked amazing, and she was like, it was me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time, man. I had a fantastic time. Leading up to HeroesCon, I won't lie, I think about all the process of, I'm like, 6-hour drive, I'm spending money on this Airbnb. But by the time we're done with it, in the middle of like today, I was like, this is the best convention. Like, this is like the best series of comic conventions.
This is the vibe.
Yeah, it is, man. It was fantastic. Do y'all have any closing remarks, any last things you want to get off your chest about HeroesCon? My boy Drew. I would have tossed it to Drew, but he's in the middle of a yawn. Blake, what about you, man? Closing remarks, last minute thoughts?
I mean, it's the same thing I was saying before. It's book and creator orientated, and that's what I like about it. It's not this glamour and glow of, hey, there's celebrities here, come and pay $200-$300 to get a quick 2-second snapshot with these guys. It's literally, you get to walk around, you get to talk to these creators, you get to hear about their stories about why they make this stuff, and I like that Heroes is very active in finding these people and inviting them.
Yeah,
it's not these people reaching out and being like, hey, I want to be on the show. It's a lot of these guys are like, yeah, I got an invite. They were like, hey, do you want to be a guest at Heroes? And it's like,
and the fact that the artists or the creators are excited, to be here.
I mean, Kyle Starks told me this is like the only con he likes going to.
That's dope. Drew, what about you, man? Any last minute remarks? And if you don't mind, because hearing Blake talk about celebrities, big name celebrities at conventions, I know you went to MegaCon for the last day. How did did you feel a difference being at MegaCon and having been there?
MegaCon sucked. It was just so big.
What did it lack What did it lack? What was like the big differences?
Space. Like space to get through in and out and stuff like that. It lacked all the things that makes HeroesCon awesome. Like there was just no art. It was just literally they're just trying to sell stuff. And then MegaCon is just like it's a celebrity photo op place. So that's what it is now. It's literally just Diet San Diego Comic-Con with no announcements. It's like, who are the biggest TV stars and artists that we can get here? All right, cool. So people are just like, and then cosplay. I would say the cosplay at MegaCon is really, really good. Like, top tier. This one was like, there was some good stuff, but there wasn't like.
What's the best cosplay you've seen this weekend?
We saw Apocalypse.
I think I was going to say that's the best one I've seen.
That's the guy I was like, damn, you're fucking huge.
That dude was cool. And also, you remember when we walked in, that guy, that Doc Ock?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was a good one because he had the arms built out and they were glowing red. He looked just like who's he played by? Andrea
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina, yeah.
All right, last thing I'll say about HeroesCon, and it actually was something, Blake, you said. You said that you were talking to Gene and Kevin at Shortboxed, how, this has like been a tradition of ours where we all figure out like, we're going to MegaCon, we'll meet you at MegaCon. And this year we actually decided to all share an Airbnb, and they sounded surprised like, oh, you planned a convention with friends? And you're like, yeah, this is the one to do it. That has kind of been stuck with me because, this is the convention that you do with friends because you're going to spend time with them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to be. There's so many opportunities to link up later with friends, and I don't know if I've ever honestly with MegaCon I've only ever gone with Drew, and it is so high. You're getting battered and battered the whole convention experience. You're walking so much and
legs hurt.
You just don't. You don't really want to be around anyone because you've just been around hundreds of thousands of people. And what you said about like that Southern kind of pace, you really feel it at this one. You feel like that sense of community and that sense of like, hey, take your time. Like, we're here. So,
hey, relax, buddy.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing when I go to C2E2, I'm there and it's like an hour in and that's the whole, I think you should leave skit. And he's like, I don't want to be here anymore. And you're like here at the show or like in life. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. I guess long story short, listeners, HeroesCon is fantastic. Another successful year, another successful panel, another successful, awesome time. I really went into this one with the mindset of like, I'm on vacation and I happen to be at a comic convention. And it went well. Hopefully this inspires some of you listeners to, make the trek to HeroesCon. I'm telling you, it's well worth it. Hopefully next year we'll be doing this episode of someone new, with more friends of ours. But besides that, it is almost midnight, and these old guys, all right, we yawning. We ready to call it a night and plan our last little mini day at HeroesCon. But besides that, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Continue to make mine and yours short box. And another big shout out to our guy, Blake, for kicking it with us. Thank you for making this HeroesCon fucking great. All right, peace.